So NAD plus stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Tongue twister, right? So that's why we just call it NAD plus. And plus, I will tell you all the pluses about it, and you're gonna love it. And it is something that you will understand why it is very helpful to so many populations of individuals, and the benefits are just phenomenal. And more than likely why it was limited and very expensive years ago, but now has become more affordable. Still a little pricey, but the benefits are well worth it. So let's dig into glutathione. Again, this is a component of a lot of the IV hydration components that you see a lot of that are around, where there's the IV hangover or replenishing or rejuvenation type therapies that are out there that I think are amazing. I have a co-worker that has an amazing IV hydration business here in Atlanta that is doing amazing, and she makes house calls. Rejuvenate Wellness, Pauline, she's got multiple locations open now, and I'm super happy for her. So I think we all have to support each other and in having small businesses, and as they grow, we have to, give each other our flowers. So very, very happy for her. When my husband was sick with COVID back in 2020, he had long haul symptoms for about, over a year, and she came with this amazing, it was like her COVID mixture that she had together, and one of her IV solutions that she had developed, and it had glutathione in it. And I remembered how with all the magnesium and all the supplements that she had in her, especially, I can't give you the secret, but that was a big component, was the glutathione. And all the benefits of the glutathione is very helpful and beneficial. So just to kind of explain what it is, how it works, I think it's very important that we understand that. So glutathione, what is it? It's a powerful antioxidant found in every cell in the body. So when we inject it, or whether it's in a subcutaneous weekly, you can take it up to twice a week. That's why it's beneficial, because we have it in our cells anyway. So a lot of these amino acids and peptides, they're safe because it's what we have already consistent in our body already. It's made of 3 types of molecules known as amino acids. Amino acids combine in different patterns to make the proteins in the body. One unique thing about glutathione is that the body is able to make it in the liver, which is not true for most antioxidants. So that's one of the really neat things about glutathione. The body is able to make it in the liver. One of the other, or many other, important factors about glutathione that is the benefits. So these are kind of the top key benefits of glutathione. That it makes DNA, so cell regeneration in a nutshell. It's able to actually regenerate the cells. Number 2, supports immune function. So it actually helps immunity. So that's why with illnesses, it was a huge benefit, or it is a huge benefit, to either take it subcutaneously in an injection form, or you can take it in an IV form. Typically starting, and I'll talk about the dosages and how to do that, and different places have protocols. And so I've developed protocols for our own clinic in an injection form. And if individuals are interested in taking an IV, My IV therapy is going to be a little different. It's not going to compete with the hydration business that's out here. Mine is more specific to the elderly population and to the mental health community. So not just for general IV hydration, and then also for the hair transplant population, because I am in a partnership with a hair transplant clinic. I have space inside of Tried and True Hair Restoration, which we are closely entwined in allowing for better outcomes by creating protocols for using peptides for better hair restoration results post hair transplant. Supporting immune function, forming sperm cells, so reproductive health. So a lot of in vitro fertilization clinics promote the use of glutathione and as well as NAD+. So very interesting concept that these natural amino acids and peptides are utilized for this patient population. It helps enzyme functions. Breaking down some free radicals. So what is free radicals? Anti-aging and protecting from some disease processes. That's what free radicals are. So it's stopping and hindering those processes of the functions in the body that should not be taking place. So it's those ill will type ailments on the body. That's what free radicals mean. Regenerating vitamin C and E. Transporting mercury out of the brain. So this is where the mental health piece comes in. So, and now I'll kind of dig a little bit into like Parkinson's, dementia. So brain and memory health benefit when it transports the mercury out of the brain. So this is how it's very beneficial when you talk about brain fog or memory challenges. It's very helpful. Assist the liver and gallbladder deal with fats. So it's going to help with that metabolizing process of the liver and the gallbladder and processing those fats and that photosynthesis of that. Assisting regular cell apoptosis, and that means when the cells die in the body, it helps with that process of shedding those dead cells and regenerating new ones. So the death of cells, which is a normal part of an organism's growth and development, pretty much that cell cycle. So that's what glutathione does. That's the biggest benefit to glutathione. There's also some promising research being performed to show that it slows down certain cancer cell progression. So that's going back to that free radical when it talked about disease processes. There are some small studies whenever I looked into this, and when I mean small, they're like single center studies done back in like one was in like 2018, one was 2016, but there's data, I'll just say that, that showed some cell stunting growth of cancer cells when using glutathione. Improving insulin sensitivity, and I thought this was very interesting and very beneficial. So what that means, patients that are diabetic, and there was also a study with this one as well. So improving insulin resistance is how individuals develop diabetes. So a small study, there were 16 patients. It was done in 2018. Glutathione metabolism in type 2 diabetes and its relationship with microvascular complications and glycemia. And so if you're interested, it was in journals.plos.org. It was written by Fallon K. Lutchmansing, Lutchmansing was the main author. And this study looked at decreasing the synthesis of glutathione, GSH, in diabetes type 2 patients. So pretty much all the synopsis of the study is that patients that were diabetic was shown to have low levels of glutathione in their bodies. And so by injecting or getting injections of the glutathione or infusions of the glutathione, initially you would do 2 the first week. Depending on the milligrams, it could be anywhere from 200 to 400 milligrams in the first week, and then a maintenance, and then 1 infusion the second week, and then like a monthly maintenance. So it just depends on your protocol and how you want it set up. But initially it's 2 IVs the first week, like on a Monday and Friday. The next week you could do like a Wednesday, and then you could do it monthly. Or transition someone to the injections once you kind of load them up on that first month. The next one is reducing symptoms of Parkinson's disease with injections. Now, I thought this was amazing and could glean some light, because sometimes you can have patients on medications and their symptoms are still progressing. Especially when a patient with Parkinson's get really tired, you can see the symptoms just kind of escalate, where the tremors are really bad or their speech gets worse. So again, the way Parkinson's and glutathione kind of exacerbates Parkinson's disease, just for definition, is a neurological disorder affected by the changes in the oxidative balance. So it's the oxidative balance as to why patients have the symptoms of Parkinson's. Parkinson's disease is a progressive, meaning progressive is that it's going to get worse, it's not reversible, neurodegenerative disease with noticeable outward symptoms, generally appearing in the 6th decade of life. So in the 60s is when people typically start to have symptoms. The most common symptoms are deterioration of autonomic and motor functions, as well as cognitive decline. So that means their physical and mental state starts to decrease. Oxidative stress, defined as the condition when the sum of free radicals, that's that word again, the free radicals, that means the disease process, or what is causing the disease process in a person's body. When the free radicals in a cell exceeds the antioxidant capacity of a cell, contributes to the pathogenesis of Parkinson's. So basically it's when it overwhelms the cell, that's when patient starts to have all of these symptoms, and you see the effects of the tremors, the memory loss, and all those physical symptoms. Glutathione is a tripeptide that acts alone or in concert with the enzymes within the cell to reduce free superoxidized radicals. That means it's what's causing the disease process. And so this is another article, it was in 2013, that studied how glutathione reduced symptoms in patients. And this is from PubMed Central. And the ID for this article is 236-65395. It was 62 September 2013, and the article was number 62, pages 13 through 25, if you're interested in looking that up and reading more. Another benefit is reducing ulcerative colitis damage. So by reducing inflammation and interrupting the oxidative damage, that's that word again. So when you think of cells being inflamed, that's basically, remember back in the beginning, glutathione helps with inflammation. So all of these disease processes pretty much stems from inflammation of cells. If we calm down inflammation with glutathione, it is a huge benefit that it reduces the symptoms of the processes of these diseases that we're speaking of. This is a big one. Treating autism spectrum disorders. Now, It's not going to cure it. I'm not saying that this is a cure for any of these. It helps with symptoms. Symptoms can be extreme depending on the patient. So it has a huge benefit to help with symptoms. So with autism, the findings are the correlation of children with autism spectrum disorders have a lower glutathione levels than neurotypical children or those without autism. So there are studies that have shown children with autism have lower glutathione levels. So they're doing more studies on this as well too. So this is something that we can really start to hone in on. So these are questions that you can start to ask and look at if you want more answers, instead of using a lot of medications, because I treat adolescents in the psychiatric world, and we use stimulants. We use, a lot of mood medications for children with to treat children with autism. If I can give a child some peptide therapy, I would love to do that more than having them on multiple medications to help with their symptoms. That would make a world of difference, and it would make a lot of parents happy. So next is NAD. This is my favorite. So for transparency, of course, I've taken both of these. I started it about a week ago, so I'm going on to week 2. And I have to tell you that I have felt very refreshed, and I've also changed from using GAC to nitroamino, and I'm going to talk about that in another whole video because that deserves its own platform. Nitroamino acids has 4 individual components, and again, I'm not going to blur it with these 2 because it needs its own video. So just stay tuned for that because it is amazing. And I mix all 3 in an injection. But I wanted to do these 2 together because, one, these 2 can go in an IV together, and it's going to be part of a protocol that I'm going to use for my mental health patients and my geriatric patients in my memory care units that I have in the assisted livings that we see. So the NAD benefits. NAD in a nutshell, NAD plus, it boosts energy levels, it reduces fatigue, and it decreases the feeling of exhaustion. NAD has an essential role in the production of ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. So this is taking us back to when I put this together. It's like I remember all this stuff, but then when you start to read, I'm a kind of a nerd. People that know me know I can be a little nerdy. But whenever I started to read all of this, I was like, oh yeah, that is right. So 1 NADH molecule equals 3 HTP molecules that's inside of a mitochondria. And what is a mitochondria? So that means within the cell, inside of a 1 cell unit. So decreased levels are associated with mental decline, diabetes, and heart disease. So if we have low NADH levels, then you're going to have fatigue, you're going to have mental fog, you're going to have, you're at more risk for heart disease. So replenishing and giving NAD supplements or NAD IV therapy, it can truly, as we say, turn back the hands of time with aging, with your skin health, with your physical health. It is just a huge boost to rejuvenating from the inside out. By definition, just so we can all kind of go back to biology and microbiology class, mitochondria are tiny organelles found in all living cells that manufacture ATP, which AKA is the energy molecule. So that is what NAD, in a huge overview, NAD is going to work from within the deepest part of our cells in our body. So what's the side effects of all of these amino acids, peptides? Well, there aren't any because they're basically part of us anyway. And so we're just adding supplements of what we already have. And as you get older and you age, you're going to start to not produce as much. So it is really a replenishing of what we're declining over time as we start to age and get older. I think with all the foods and the environmental pieces, there's some things that we are lacking just because I think the foods and the environmental stressors are taking that from us anyway. So the side effects of taking these supplements, essentially there's none because it's naturally in us. It's safe. If getting an infusion, post-infusion patients sometimes may feel nervousness, they may feel headaches or fatigue if it's given too rapidly. So you have to know what you're doing, you have to do it safely, and you cannot give an infusion really quickly, like in 30 or 45 minutes. You need to spread it out at least an hour and a half. Depending on a patient, if it's an elderly patient, I would say maybe 2 hours. But definitely you cannot infuse these amino acids and peptides quickly. It helps increase your natural defense against aging and promotes the renewal of your cells in your skin. It improves exercise performance for our older adults and for our middle-aged adults too. It increases your insulin sensitivity and provides an anti-inflammatory effect. The top 10 benefits of NAD. Number 1 is energy. Number 2, which I love, is like getting your, if you're into aesthetics, it's like getting your Botox and fillers in an injection or in an IV. It's anti-aging. So that's why you see, people that are like 60 and 70 years old and they've been getting these treatments for years. They look so young because it just plumps your cells up and it just rehydrates, it replenishes them, and it keeps you looking young. So trust me, I'm gonna take it until the cows come home. Mental clarity is number 3. Number 4, this is a big one for erectile dysfunction and even for women with decreased libido. It increases libido and sexual function. Again, this is another one that has been advertised on infertility clinics and in the reproductive sites. For men and women, the ability to perform sexually and produce healthy offspring well into middle age and beyond, it has that benefit. Digestion helps increase and promote healthy and good digestion. So people that have colitis or irritable bowel, it's shown to help improve that. Lowering blood pressure. So it's really, really good for cardiovascular health. Addiction recovery. So this is in my wheelhouse again with my behavioral health work that I do within our practice. So this is a big, big plus that a lot of patients want to get off of MAT therapy and taking medicine every day to help with their sobriety. So if I can do something more natural to help them maintain their sobriety, this is all up my alley. If they can come in and do an infusion a couple of times a month in addition to weaning down medications, this is a huge plus and a huge win. Immune system support. Again, it goes back and ties hand in hand with the glutathione support. Protects and repairs DNA. So that's that cell rejuvenation. Improves blood flow. And then the last one is boost metabolism. So it has that other added benefit of helping if you're on a weight loss journey or you're maintaining your weight. It all ties in with keeping your weight and your balance as long as you're eating healthy, you're moving. And it doesn't mean that you have to do all this strenuous exercise and just burning yourself out. Just walking a brisk walk 3 times a week, eating a good balanced healthy diet, it boosts the metabolism, so it stimulates the liver, it works with the glutathione. You can do these injections or these drips together, or you can do them separately. They both just have a huge benefit. So leave comments below, ask some questions, and up next, I will do the next video on the nitro amino acids, and it has 4 components to it that I will go in depth and talk to you about. A couple of them has some components of GAC, and I already did a video on GAC. If you want to look at that, it's already posted. But the nitro amino acids, I said it's like GAC on steroids, and it is amazing. So I feel really good. I've been on the nitro amino, the glutathione, and the NAD now for over a week, and I sleep like a baby. I feel good. I actually do feel very refreshed. I feel like my skin, back to the glutathione, it has a proponent of just skin lightening and brightening and keeping your skin clear as well too. So these all, you just cannot go wrong. So if you have questions, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I am a big proponent, and I'm convinced of amino acids and peptides being a way of where we need to go for medical conditions and just overall general good health. Thank you so much, and I will be back soon to talk to you about nitro amino acids. Have a good day, guys.